Hi, I'm Elijah, and last time we met, I looked like this. And now I look like this. I'm wearing a different shirt.
Oh buddy, oh boy, we get to talk about game character designs again. Last time we did this, we talked about the importance of making a character look memorable and complement the writing, or keeping up with the new technology being pumped out. And there's grit. I only went through a few handful of characters with a few notable facelifts, or a few graphical enhancements here and there, mostly looking at their render design for promotional art rather than in-game models. But with consoles now putting what's on the box in the game, the line can't be that blurry.
I didn't see a line to begin with.
Metroid, the one Nintendo series everybody knows. Samus is the face of that series, so it makes sense that you see it when you first open the box. Gotcha. It wasn't until you finish the game where you get one of gaming's biggest plot twists. Samus has a face. Back then, you really couldn't blame people for thinking Samus was a guy, with all the mustache-cladded plumbers or the green tunic-wearing elven boys in gaming at that point. I mean, even look at the design of Samus's power suit beforehand. Nothing in here denotes anything of male or female, which makes the shock bring a lot more factor into it. Also, the suit itself, I hate it.
And not so much hate, more so like I can't really stand it.
Just alright bulky, but practical nonetheless, but this just looks uncomfortable to wear. But as time went on and almost everybody knew Samus was a girl, her power suit started to reflect that. Now this is the power suit that I know, and I grew up with it. I'm pretty sure everyone else did too. Not only that, it looked a lot more practical, with it more reflecting on her agility. I mean, be honest, are you really gonna look at the first power suit and think that somebody could do somersaults with that thing? I mean, but with this one, you can kind of see it. But as time went on, her power suit became more slimmer and more practical. And the Metroid Fusion suit, at first I was put off, but then I kinda understood why it was there. But the suit design in Metroid Dread, I mean hell, we can't even talk about Samus without talking about Samus herself. I mean, she has also changed with the times, for better or for worse depending on who you're asking. And if you ask me, but hey, while we're on the subject of Nintendo property, let's go back to Mario for a bit. Mario, the face of Nintendo, joy and hopeful, and holy shit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody remembers this point in the 2000s. Mario had this phase which tried to make him look badass. Lower the bill of his cap, hide his mouth. See, playing Mario is badass. It was also a weird period of people trying to make it weird and cool with how it reflected on TV that we watched and its commercials. I'm pretty sure we all remember the grossed out humor of the 2000s. And so has Nintendo. And with time, he's mellowed out into a weird period in the 2010s where he's over-cleansed. Yeah, get that wackiness out of here. Now this is a standard for Mario. Bland and generic. But hey, it was marketable. But now we're getting back to some of that wackiness with Mario, but there are still remnants of that deep clean era. The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker was a shock for most people at the time with its art direction. Breath of the Wild was my shock with this. For the longest time, Link has always worn his iconic green tunic and hat. Sure, Sonic Boom made Sonic look like that, but at least he still looks Sonic. Mario in the 2000s looked like how he does, except he looks like he could say a curse word without his parents knowing. Breath of the Wild Link?
This isn't my Zelda!
Many people confused him for Zelda this time. Hell, even Zelda had a redesign as well. From this regal purple and white attire to the same blue that Link is wearing. So why did the design change? Well, some sources say that with Breath of the Wild taking place in a bigger field of Hyrule, it would be hard to distinguish Link from its surroundings, and other sources say that it would be hard to make Link look cool in a hat and green tunic. Now for that last source, I have a Twilight Princess for you, and the other source, I can kinda see why. Also, I'm not really miffed about it. Link hasn't only worn green, but when most people think of Link, they mostly think of, yeah, green. Not to mention that since both Link and Zelda are wearing the same colors, it shows that these two are important to the story, which they do both in the game and both in the actual game series, which was to break free from the standards of its predecessors. I'm pretty sure not a lot of people caught on, but every mainline Zelda game that happened before Breath of the Wild, they all followed the same format that started with A Link to the Past. But I'm not talking about game development here now, I'm talking character designs, in which they can also tell a story of the character. Kratos of God of War. Looking back at the PS2, you see this angry, rage-filled guy with a tattoo and the ashes of his dead family on his skin, which gives you a... This was badass in the early 2000s. But with the new series, with his more reserved, a bit more mellowed out compared to his more exaggerated looks, and also rocked a full beard. To many people, a beard signifies wisdom and maturity, which is in the case of Kratos, and is also how he reflects in the game. And where most people would probably look at this and say that they changed the character to who he was originally, in which some cases it could be true, but in my opinion, if one video game character needed a redemption and development beyond the bare minimum for something completely justified. Plus, I also think that most God of War fans have grown up and maybe needed a story like Kratos. But even playing both the first game and the PS4 game, I still see some bits of old Kratos. The story shows and tells us that the pain that this guy went through in the whole Greece saga and the pain and loss he felt during that time. He's a character representing someone who bears the weight of his past and has evolved. But I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet because who knows, I probably might do a deep dive into Kratos later down the line. So I'll just say this. Kratos is the embodiment of dad with lore that is so messed up that the universe tried to nerf him. Lara Croft, similar to Samus as one of video games' most iconic heroines, which also comes from her designs. While exaggerated, yes, it did catch many people's eyes, which shot Lara into stardom. And also, to be fair, her design did fit the 90s aesthetic. While despite her appearance in the game, Lara herself is an independent and competent character. Fast forward to 2013 and Lara Croft's character was completely reimagined. Tomb Raider 2013 shifts away from the over-the-top action of the previous games into a more grounded and vulnerable version. So they basically just took Tomb Raider and gave it the Uncharted treatment. Which, fun fact, Uncharted was inspired by Tomb Raider. But back to Tomb Raider. Gone are the exaggerated proportions and minimal clothes, where she was given more practical gear and tools, which makes sense for the environment. Her physicality that she has is still here, but not shown as glamorous. Cuts and bruises are evident on her skin, which makes her more of a human as she is. All the while showing more emotion without sacrificing anything of her that made Lara, well, Lara. Spyro the Dragon, the secondary mascot of the PlayStation after Crash Bandicoot on the PS1. A platformer where you run around ramming into things, torching them, and occasionally gliding. His design shows you what you're getting at, much like what Crash, Sonic, and Mario. But then we get to The Legend of Spyro, which tones down on the cartoony aspect and darkens the story a bit and his design. It doesn't look that different, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. Whatever case is with that time, video game companies decided, what are these bright colors? Get them out of here! Now mutant dirt colors. Now that's what we're getting. Also, why in this box art does he look like he has a head? It could be the angle, but it's nice to know that they wouldn't change his design like this. Who sat there at that meeting and said, this is a good idea? He looks nothing like Spyro. They took that head from the New Beginning and he looks like that. But with the Spyro Reignited trilogy, we got a more refined look of Spyro's original cartoony design. Ratchet & Clank had some changes, but nothing too noticeable. From the PS2, they looked as cartoony as Spyro, but as the years went on with the technology advancing, you see a lot more fuzz and shine and more streamlining within their faces, which still looks cartoony but more refined, like how you would see SpongeBob's evolution from season 1 to 3. I want to do an evolution on fighting game characters, but I might save that for another video as well, so I'll do this. Ryu from Street Fighter, here from Street Fighter 2 to 5, and now to 6. He got the Beard of Wisdom! And lastly, Dante from Devil May Cry. This guy went from having white hair to someone you would run into in college just to have white hair again.
Yeah, it takes a certain type to pull off that type of style.